Good morning, everybody. This is Dr. Mayorga, and welcome to Wednesday's little video. And my last little video, I talked about that I was going to discuss uh, birth order. And I said I was going to start with the middle child. And I said also that there is such a thing that is discussed in the counseling or psychology arena, that there's a middle child syndrome. And again, I want to remind everybody that some of this is facts and some of it is opinions. And I will state when it's an opinion. Having been, or I am still a middle child, I can talk a lot about some of the things that they state in their research that middle children experience. Um, and so, uh, part of being a middle child is wondering, where do you belong? Uh, and I think I talked in my last video that I'm the middle child of five, and the last three were all born very close, so we kind of became a little entity, while my oldest sibling and then the second oldest sibling kind of were doing their own thing. But when you think about it from a group perspective, the oldest, the second oldest, which by the way, there's a lot of competition there when there's the oldest and the second oldest. Then you have the middle child, which is me, and then you have the last two. And I'm using my family as an example because it's a good example. And one of the things, and I can identify with a lot of the issues that research says a middle child goes through. Uh, and as a middle child, and maybe somebody out there, as you're seeing this video, you are a middle child and you can relate, or you could turn around and say, "Oh, I have not experienced that at all. I'm in a whole different category," and when that's okay too. But generally, middle children are trying to find a niche. Because let's do the comparison. You have the oldest, which becomes like a mother figure. Then your second oldest, that's in competition with the oldest. Then you have, if you're the last, or there's just one more person after you, then you're kind of stuck in, are you really a middle child or not a middle child? So five seems to be a really good number for being a middle child, or three is a good number for being a middle child. And a lot of it also has to do with your environment where you grew up. But I can attest to the fact that I was very much a loner, and I was trying to figure out what to do. I didn't know who to admire or look at as a way to guide me, because the last two had a really tight relationship. So they were doing they're what I would call Irish twins. Maybe I could even include myself there because we were all born like 11 months apart. But these my two siblings that were the last two, they were what I would call Irish twins. Very, very close in age. They slept in the same room. They did all of that. I was kind of out here in the outside. So I had to find a way to make my own way. And for me, it became education. So middle children are always looking for a niche. And I preface that by saying that's my opinion. Some people aren't always looking for a niche. Um, but there's a high percentage that you're trying to find where to fit in. Now, understand also that birth order comes with roles that parental figures will give to each of the children. I was given the role of a peacemaker or pleaser, and the person that you go to when you want something taken care of. And because I was looking for a way to get attention, because middle children, because they're kind of floating around wondering where they belong, do experience that whole concept of missing attention, because you have your firstborn and then your secondborn, and the parents are pretty okay. Then along comes a third one, and maybe, yeah, they think that's the last one, and then all of a sudden more children come along and you don't know where you fit. and that becomes very difficult. So you may find middle children looking for a way to please the family, to be accepted, to figure out what they do. So they'll find some little niche that will make them stand out. I'll use myself as an example. It became education and grades. I was going to strive to do well, to get some kind of recognition, that I stood out that way. But you're also, another thing that a middle child may deal with is being overshadowed. They're either overshadowed by the siblings in front or overshadowed with the siblings that are in the back. That's why they call you a middle child. So now what? If you come and you are talking about some kind of accomplishment that you did in the in school or even in your job, there might be some redirection to, well, look what this sibling has done, or look what this sibling has done. So you may be overshadowed, and that's something that again affects the level of confidence, the level of accomplishment, all of those things that can really become difficult for people. So this is just a little snippet. I'm going to, I don't want to do a 20-minute video, but I do want to put it out there. Where do you fall in your family? If you fall into the category of middle child, ask yourself, am I always trying to keep the peace? Does it work? Am I listened to? How do I feel overshadowed by my other siblings? Now, I'm doing this video not to create chaos or conflict, just for information and for personal growth, and to understand ourselves better, and to recognize how come we do the things that we do. Because birth order does also affect how we engage, what we end up doing. Middle children tend to be service providers. You'll find a lot of teachers, you'll find a lot of nurses, you'll find a lot of jobs that are some kind of provider, service provider. Now, not everybody falls into that category. So again, you're looking at yourself. If you are a middle child, if you can identify with some of this, that's great. If you can't, that's great too. And this is just a little topic that I have found that in my time working with other people, being a counselor educator, a human being working on personal growth, and when I encounter other middle people, middle children, middle adults, middle adult children, their behavior will right away indicate to me that that's where they fall in their family. So this is the start of this little series that I will be doing on where the what the birth orders are, their definition, and what people tend to do when they're in that birth order. The next one, I'm going to go back to the oldest, and we'll start there in the next little clip. Thank you.